Hello and welcome to Maiden, Mother, Matriarch with me, Louise Perry. My guest today is the author Rachel Shteir, writer of a new book, Betty Friedan, Magnificent Disruptor. We spoke about Betty Friedan, the author of Feminine Mystique, an iconic book first published in 1963, and the co-founder of Now, and an incredibly important figure in second wave feminist politics in America, and also a very divisive figure who often clashed with other feminists of the period, and is a really, I think, interesting lens through which to view the politics of that era, because she in some ways, is this bridge between an older, more respectable bourgeois culture in which she was raised and the radicalism that she partly birthed and partly was eaten by later in her career. We, in the extended part of the episode, also spoke about her clash with Phyllis Schlafly, the great anti-feminist of the era. That extended episode can be found at louiseperry.substack.com, along with bonus episodes and the MMM chat community. Enjoy. So, Rachel, I think that most people listening are going to be familiar with Betty Friedan. At the very least, are going to be familiar with the Feminine Mystique. But for anyone who's new to her, why do you think she's such an important and interesting person to study?
Well, I'm not as confident as you are that people will know who she is. In some ways, she has fallen off of the curriculum in many universities, so she's not really studied as much as she once was. But why she's important, of course, is the Feminine Mystique, first of all, which was published in 1963 and was an immediate bestseller, and then was also quite sensational and controversial from the very moment it was published. But the book, the reason people are still talking about the book, this is the book's 60th anniversary. And last week I went to an event celebrating the 60th anniversary of the book. I don't know of that many other books from the 20th century that are still being discussed. And so what was the Feminine Mystique? I think because it's not read as much as it maybe once was, even 20 years ago, I think it's important to say that the Feminine Mystique is a book that was meant to diagnose a condition that was afflicting American women, half of the population in America.
What was the term she used for it again? It's not the malady that has no name. I always get confused. It's the condition that had no name.
The problem that had no name.
The problem that had no name.
The problem that had no name. Yeah, which is such an evocative phrase.
Yeah.
It was descriptive. The book was descriptive, and it covers a wide variety of realms. It covers Freud and his American interpreters. It covers Kinsey and his ideas about sexuality. It covers advertising and Madison Avenue. It covers higher education for women and whether that was a waste of time or, how it was specifically being, promoted to women and what was being taught to them. And then, of course, just in women's magazines, which Betty herself had written for in the mid to late 50s, and which promoted this idea of the perfect wife, or this is how Betty saw it anyway. I think some scholars might disagree with this idea that there was this hegemonic view of housewives that magazines, American magazines such as Ladies' Home Journal and so on, were promoting. But it was an idea that these magazines were promoting. And so the book was meant to be descriptive and describe this condition that was suppressing American women. And it was meant to raise women as a category to the level of Blacks or other groups that were being discussed as being oppressed in society. So I think of it as being the first punch that was thrown, or the first scream in America that was heard about this.
Thank you so much for watching that episode of Maiden, Mother, Matriarch, and for all of your support. It means an enormous amount for the growth of the show. If you want to hear bonus content, an extra 20, 30 minutes of conversation with the guest, maybe a little bit more personal, a little bit less filtered, then you can go to my Substack at louiseperry.substack.com, where you can sign up for extended episodes and also bonus episodes. And you can also access our chat community. You can also support the show by subscribing on YouTube or subscribing wherever you get your podcasts, and rating and reviewing on Apple Podcasts is also really great for encouraging other people to give the show a try. Please also spread the word, tell people that you know who you think might like it to give it a shot. The word of mouth effect is really valuable, so we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, watching, and supporting what we're doing.